Part 2 of the complete timeline of my Loki is God theory. We left off exploring how Jesus is Odin and Lucifer is Balder, but Odin's wife, Freya, goddess of fertility, has been rebranded, slandered by Loki as just a common prostitute. But the slander doesn't stop there, as what seems like payback for the time Thor laid into Loki for cutting off Sif's characteristic golden hair. Loki has conflated Sif and Thor within the biblical character of Samson, whose super strength comes from his hairdo. So this is Loki pretending that the god of strength just comes from his hair. And I hear some of you saying, come on, would Loki really do that? Are you kidding me? That's practically the only thing Loki does in the myths. Need I remind you of when he ruined Aegir's feast by making fun of everyone to their faces? He even called Tyr a cuck. But I digress. Circling back, or rather forward, to Ragnarok/Revelation, in Norse mythology, it said that Ragnarok will be preceded by Heimdall blowing his horn Gjallarhorn, and in Revelation, it said that each apocalyptic event will be preceded by the blowing of trumpets. Furthermore, in Revelation, when the sixth of the seven seals open, it's said that the sun will become black as a sackcloth of hair and the moon like blood. This is like in Ragnarok when Skoll and Hati swallow the sun and moon. But there's one little hiccup in Loki's plan that comes in the form of the Greek gods, because Loki didn't even know about them, but now his renown has become too large that the Greeks have caught wind of it, and so have sent a strike team to take him down in the form of the four horsemen. The first horseman arrived on a white horse wearing a crown with a voice like thunder and set about conquering. That's this fella here. And that to me sounds an awful lot like Zeus. Then there's the second horseman, this guy who arrived on a red horse with a great sword and was granted to take peace from the earth and make men slay each other. Ares. The third horseman arrives on a black horse and is just kind of weighing out different grains and saying how they cost more than usual. Hermes is a god of merchants, but he's also a psychopomp, meaning he escorts the souls of the dead to the underworld, which makes sense why he would arrive directly before Death, arriving on an ashen horse, which is clearly Thanatos. But very much worth noting that it then says, and then Hades follows them. Now you might be thinking, but in the Bible sometimes Hades is used as a replacement word for hell. Not in this case, because later in Revelation it says, and then Death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire, and the lake of fire clearly means hell there, so I guess Loki just holds out high hopes for victory. But how could Loki ever hope to stand a chance against these insurmountable odds with a little help from his friends? Later in Revelation, it shows the throne of God surrounded by 24 other thrones supposedly filled with elders. Who could these be but the resurrected Aesir and Vanya united over a common enemy? And then finally in Revelation, we see New Jerusalem, the fated utopia for God, the faithful, and the army of God to all live in after the fighting is done, which bears strong resemblance to Valhalla. Look, that's all I got for now, but I'm going to keep digging, and if you guys notice anything lining up as well, please don't hesitate to tell me.